Waking up to another peaceful dawn, Jamie uses his time in the early morning to fish from his dock and prepare for his upcoming project. If he is able to cut a road through the trees to the west, he could shorten the distance between him and the nearest fuel pump by nearly a third. Making sure to put out his daily broadcast, he finally strikes out into the foggy outdoors to begin the hard labor he almost welcomes. Delighted to find his planned path mostly clear already, there's still plenty of axe swings needed before he reaches his destination. Having filled his trailer with the first full load, he brings the firewood back to his modest sanctuary and decides to rest his aching muscles for the rest of the afternoon. Waking up annoyingly early, Jamie doesn't let his restlessness get the best of him, as he instead uses the opportunity to fish undisturbed, and builds up the resolve to reach the road by the end of today. Clearing the way to the gravel path by noon, Jamie returns home to recuperate for a few hours before heading out once again. Taking in the cool breeze in the back garden and enjoying the view of the autumn trees, Jamie knows it's time to make the trek back to his initial SUV he had left along the road. While it seemed to be a silly thing, Jamie knows that he very well could be dead if it hadn't been for the reliable steed so early on in his flight from West Point. As he's nearing his reliable friend, as a fresh rain begins to fall, Jamie is also greeted by another reliable machine. Having his peaceful lie shattered like a brick being thrown through a window, Jamie finds himself stewing in anger and fury as he finds an isolated stretch of road to park in. Hours pass as rain pelts against his roof, and the flapping of blades beat against the air. But none of the relentless undead show their horrific faces. Finally hearing the helicopter fading off into the distance, he finds himself wondering who exactly these people were, but realizes that each and every conclusion is simply a wild piece of speculation that leads him nowhere. If today didn't describe my new life perfectly, then I don't know what would. I finished clearing the path to the road to Weston, though I still have to make an actual road out of it. Then, since I was already worn down, I decided to simply walk out and retrieve my old SUV I left on the road. Then rain. Then that god-forsaken helicopter. Accomplishment, victory, exhaustion, annoyance, and anger. That's my routine. That's my life. Over and over again. I guess at the very least that fucking pilot lets me know I'm not the last one out there. Jamie. Waking up early once again, and going through his normal morning routine, he understands that his time away from bloodshed was over. Today his new project took him back to Weston. Though it was only August, Jamie could already see the signs of winter fast approaching, and he didn't want to be left without a steady source of fuel to see him through the season. Unsurprised with the pests that had found their way onto the road, Jamie drives down the path he had worked so hard to clear and arrives at his new work site. Though it would take a decent amount of effort, Jamie comes to realize that the only way to keep the dead out was a wall. So to protect his source of fuel, he was going to construct a compound within the heart of Weston. Needing propane, he makes a quick trip to the first part of Weston he had looted, remembering the riverside gym that held 2 grills that had his name on them. As he moves so freely through the town that had once been claimed by the dead, he finds his mind flashing through all the violence that had led to such peace. Unsure if it was right of him to spill so much blood for something as simple as gas for his generator, he finds himself too afraid to come up with an answer, as he instead distracts himself with the setting sun. Making his way back home after making meager progress on his project, Jamie doesn't worry for once as he reminds himself that time is the only thing he has in abundance. Rising to another early dawn, Jamie finds that he doesn't have the heart to return to Weston today, and opts instead to reward himself with the forgotten comforts of the indoors. Putting out his morning broadcast, beginning a book on basic mechanics, and returning to the workout routine he had neglected, Jamie is reminded of the threat too persistent and powerful to ignore: isolation.
Hello? Hello? Hello?